Hello guys, once again welcome to our YouTube channel Skill Tech 01. Today we are we have come with a topic that is SSIS. So for technical guys, they must have listened this term SSIS. So let's see what is SSIS. So SSIS is a short form of SQL Server Integration Services. It is one of the significant components of Microsoft SQL Server and was initially introduced with SQL Server 2005. SQL Server 2005 is said to be next generation of SQL Server program after SQL Server 2000, and it replaced DTS, Data Transformative Transformation Services, in SQL Server 2000. So SSIS is very beneficial for accomplishing a wide variety of data transformation, data integration, and data migration jobs. SSIS is also known as an ETL tool mainly used to handle tasks related to data extraction, transformation, load operation. Enables developer to use it for tasks other than ETL such as data profiling, file system manipulation, etc. We can perform powerful batch operation in SSIS with support of programming languages like C Sharp, .NET or VB.NET. Most companies use SSIS to store and manage their data in warehouse, SES, and further extract and load it whenever required. Second point, what is meant by SSIS package? So package is an organized set of connection such as control events, data flow elements, parameters, event handlers, variables, and configuration. We can usually assemble a package in SSIS using the design tool or using programming and codes. Typically, SSIS packages are created in Business Intelligence Development Studio (BITS). SSIS packages can merge data from heterogeneous data sources into file system, SQL Server, or package store. These packages can also be used to clean and standardize data, populate data warehouse, and automate administrative tasks. Number third, what are the main components parts of SSIS packages? So, control flow, data flow, package explorer, and event handler are the main components or parts of SSIS packages. Fourth point, what is defined by the term data flow in context of SSIS? So, the term data flow is nothing but a process of transferring the data from source location to a destination. In simple words, the flow of data pumping from corresponding source to a target destination is referred to as data flow. It is a simple mechanism in which information is traveling from one point to another. There are three components of data flow, such as source, transformation, and destination. SSIS allows user to gain more control over the transformation of data from start to finish. It contains several inbuilt transformation components that help user clean manipulate the data in data pipeline. To implement a data flow task in package, the user must first attach a data flow task to a package control flow. The data flow task is then executed within SSIS packages to create, order, and run the data flow. A separate instance of the data flow engine is created for every data flow task within the SSIS packages. So you can see here. So control flow, data flow, parameters, event handlers. So this is the overview of SSIS data flow. Now fifth point is, what is control flow? So control flow in SSIS is graphical structure of element that allows users to link and program different tasks using logical connectors and control the elements flow. The use of control flow in SSIS help decide how task will execute. It is necessary to include at least one control flow element in the package. In simple terms, the workflow for SSIS package is called control flow. The control to control the order of execution or specify the condition of executing the next consecutive task or container in package. We can include precedence constants to join the package's task and containers. The control flow connects the modular data flow in sequence of tasks to achieve the desired results. In SSIS, there are mainly three following types of control flow elements. Tasks that provide functionalities such as create backups, connect to FTP, execute scripts or SQL tasks, etc. in packages. Containers that provide a structure such as sequential, for loop, or for each loop. Precedence constraint that join task, containers, and executable in sequential control flow. Now come to the another point. What is meant by data transformation in SSIs? So data transformation is carried critical SSIs process used to extract specific data from corresponding data sources. Once the extraction is completed, the process further helps to manage and transfer the extracted data to a separate file we have selected. The data transformation generally implements several rules and functionalities to the extracted data to derive the data for loading into separate file or end file, also called end target. So according to you, what are most significant difference between SSIs and DTS? So SSIs stands for SQL Server Integration Service. DTS stands for Data Transformation Services. It has powerful, complex and error handling support. DTS has limited error handling support. SSIs contain message boxes in .NET scripts. DTS contain message boxes in ActiveX scripting. SSIs consist of an interactive deployment wizard. DTS doesn't have any deployment wizard. SSIs has wide range of number of transformation. DTS has limited number of transformation. SSIs is suitable for complete BI, means business intelligence integration. DTS doesn't support any BI functionality. Now, the eighth, differentiate SSIs from Informatica. So SSIs and Informatica, we will see the difference. So SSI is easy to use and maintain. Informatica is easy to use but difficult to maintain as compared to SSIs. SSIs can be easily implemented. Informatica is a bit difficult to implement. SSIs has no cost, meaning it is cost free or free to use. Informatica is quite expensive. SSIs comes to productivity. When it comes to productivity, SSIs is considered a moderate option. Informatica, it has comparatively higher productivity while implementing larger application. SSIs is a newer approach. Informatica is older than SSIs. Now, what is meant by SSIs catalog? Can you deploy your packages in SSIs catalog? So SSIs catalog is generally defined as the database that is used to store all the deployed packages. This is mainly used to increase the security of the stored packages. Besides, it is also helpful in handling and controlling the deployed packages. In addition, SSIS catalog allows users to deploy their own packages. The packages are stored there as a centralized storage database. 10th point, what is task in SSIS? So task is nothing but a method of programming language used to carry out an individual component of work. SSI is a general task is generally related to database to achieve specific desired results. Tasks are mainly divided into following two categories: database maintenance task and control flow task. 11th point, why do we use bulk insert task in SSIs? So the bulk insert task in SSIS is mainly used to upload vast amounts of data from flat files to SQL Server. Only OLEDB connection to the destination database are supported. 12th point, what is defined by the term container in SSIS? So it's a set of tasks linked logically and its container. Container use is essential as it allows us to manage the scope of tasks together. So there are mainly four types of containers used in SSIs. So task host container, sequence container, for each loop container, and for loop container. Now question number 13. What are the different types of containers used in SSIs? So first one is sequence container. This type of container is used to put all similar tasks in the same group. The sequence container is considered an organization container primarily used for those packages which are more complex. Second one is for loop container. This type of container is mainly used to execute any particular task to a specific number of times. For loop container helps execute the same task several times instead of creating multiple packages or executing the entire packages multiple times. For example, assume we want to update records for any 10 task 10 times. We can put the task inside the for loop container and assign a value 10 as the loop's end value. Doing so will execute the same task 10 times within the same package. For each loop container, this type of container is used in the scenario where we want to execute the task multiple times, but we are unsure how many times a task should perform. Using for each loop container, the task is executed any number of times until it satisfies the given condition. For example, suppose we want to delete all the files inside a folder and we are not sure about the number of files inside the folder. So therefore we can apply for each loop container that will go through the collection of files one by one and delete them until the collection is empty. Question number 14. Define precedence constraint in context of SSIs. So precedence constraints are defined as a commands that instruct the system to follow the specific order to execute tasks. We can define the logical sequence of all tasks using precedence constraints. In this case, the task will only be executed if they satisfy the condition or order specified in precedence constraints. These constraints instruct tasks to follow specific execution routes based on the success or failure of other existing tasks. So there are three main types of indication methods: success, failure, and completion. This success is indicated by green line in control flow. The workflow will proceed in case the preceding container executes successfully. Failure. This is indicated by the red line in control flow. The workflow will proceed in case the preceding container's execution fails. Completion. This is indicated by blue line in control flow, and the workflow will proceed in case the preceding container's execution completes. This method is independent of success or failure status. Question number 15. What do you understand by SSI's breakpoint? So SSI's breakpoint is SSI's property that allows users, developer to pause the package execution in the business intelligence system. It is generally referred to as the stopping point at any specific state within the code. The use of breakpoint is widespread as it helps to suddenly stop the execution at any desired point and enables the developers to review the status of variables, data, or the entire package. SSI's breakpoints are generally configured in BIDS, Business Intelligence Development Studio. First, navigate to Control Flow interface within BIDS. Right-click on any particular object where we want apply or remove the breakpoint. Click on Edit Breakpoint option and set the breakpoint or disable it accordingly. Question number 16. What do you understand by checkpoint in SSIs? So a checkpoint is nothing but a saving point that helps developers to restart or load the project from any specific point. This concept is mainly used to restart the project from the point of failure instead of loading the entire project again. Suppose we are working on any file and it is suddenly crashes due to an unexpected error. If we have configured the property to true, the package will create a checkpoint. The checkpoint generally creates a checkpoint file that contains the information about package execution. The next time when we run the package execution is restarted from the checkpoint or the point of failure. If the package executes without any error, the checkpoint and the checkpoint file are both deleted. Therefore, a checkpoint is considered a safeguard for any SSI project. In case something goes wrong, we will have a backup. Now come to the question number 17. For which type of container the checkpoint data is not saved? So the checkpoint data is not saved for loop container such as for loop and for each loop. 18. What type of variables can be created in SSIs? So two types of variable, global variables and task specific variables. Global variables are the one which remains available for all tasks within the complete process. Besides, variable created in task are known as task specific variables and remain available only within the task. Both of these variables are almost similar to function level variables in programming. Point 19. What is the role of connection manager in SSIs? So connection manager are mainly helpful when we want to collect data from different sources and further write it to any particular destination. So the connection manager helps communicate with system and give the desired information to the system like database name, server name, data provider information, authentication mechanism, etc. Question number 20. What are the types of lookup cache modes present in SSIs? There are mainly three types of lookup cache modes present in SSIs lookup transformation: full cache mode, partial cache mode. This type of cache mode helps SSIs query and database before the beginning of data flow task execution. This mode is a critical part of pre-execute phase. Besides, SSIs copies all the data from the reference table or lookup table into SSIs lookup cache during full cache mode. Partial cache mode. This cache mode helps SSIs to query database against new rows from different sources. In this mode, the row is cached into SSIs lookup cache all in case when there is subsequent match. Once the cache gets full, SSIs automatically starts removing existing rows based on match and usage states. After that, new matching rows are loaded into the lookup cache. No cache mode. SSS doesn't cache any rows in this cache mode unless there are two subsequent sources with the same lookup values. In no cache mode, the database is required to get the match data value from the reference table for each row coming through the source. Point 21. How can you deploy SSIS packages? So most important question. So to deploy SSIS packages, we must first execute the deployment manifest file. We must execute deployment manifest file given by SSIS project built. Next, we are required to either deploy the entire package onto SQL Server or file system. It is good to deploy packages onto SQL Server because it is much faster than deploying onto the file system. Another method of deploying packages is to directly import packages from SSMS to file system or SQL Server. Point number 22. Can you log SSIS execution? So SSIS has several features and one of them is logging. So logging allows the system to analyze and write log entries during runtime events. Additionally, user can also add custom messages. However, this option is not enabled by default. Due to integration services, there is support for wide variety of different sets, including various log options. The integration services helps write log entries to different formats such as text file, XML file, SQL Server Profiler, Windows Event Log, etc. This means the user can log SSIS execution. Logs are associated with the packages and maintained at package level. Every task or container in a package is allowed to log information to another package log. Apart from this, we can manually enable task and container in any package for logging even though the package itself is not allowed or enabled to log. Point number 23. How does an error occur in SSIS and what are the most critical error in SSIS? So in most cases the error occur during transformation due to unexpected input of data values. There can be several different scenarios when an error may occur. For example, while applying a transformation to column data, loading data into destination, extracting data from sources, etc. The most common errors are data connection error. This type of error is commonly seen when connection manager cannot be initialized with the connection string. This can be seen in both the data source and the data destination, along with control flow that uses the connection strings. Data transformation errors. This type of error is observed while converting the data from the data source to a destination in data pipeline. And third, expression evaluation errors. This type of error can usually be seen in scenario where values evaluated at runtime exhibit invalid performance. Point number 24. Define the term workflow. So workflow is a sequential set of instructions or commands that instruct the program executor to follow a specific flow when executing tasks and containers within an SSIS package. Define data profiling task in SSIS. So data profiling related questions are also asked. So data profiling is the process in which analysis is done to better understand source data state in terms of data cleaning, data pattern identification, number of number or nullable in data, etc. The data profiling task is generally used in starting stages of project development cycle to ensure that it supports destination design scheme. Additionally, the process also helps figure whether the data is ready to be used and where it should be used within the current development cycle. The data profiling task doesn't help while developing standard recurring ETL packages. Point number 26. Why do we use ignore failure option in SSIS? So ignore failure option in SSIS is mainly used to ignore the errors during the transformation processes. Using this, an error is ignored and the data row is iterated to move on to the next transformation. So this option helps in scenario where we have incorrect data, junk data coming from the source. We can use the ignore failure option to redirect such data to another transformation instead of failing the entire package. The option simply allows us to move only valid data to the destination. Additionally, it helps to move incorrect data into a separate file. So this is the use of ignore failure options. Now question 27. Define event logging mode property in SSIS. Event logging. So all the tasks and packages contain a property referred to as logging mode. The event logging mode properly allows or accept the following three values. First enable, second disable, third user parent settings. So enable. This option help us to log the components. Second disable. This option allows us to disable the components. User parent setting allows us to modify or optimize the parent settings. How can we stop any package that is running in SSIS forever? It depends on the condition where the package is running. In case the package is running inside SQL agent, we can explicitly kill the entire process by implementing tsql. Besides, if the package is running inside SSIS catalog, we must use the stop operation stored method. We can either use active operation windows to stop the process running in SSIS catalog. Active operation window. 29 point. What are the main steps to be following for creating deployment utility in SSIS? So first we see deployment is the process of changing a package state from development mode to the executable mode. When it comes to deploying the SSIS package, one can simply deploy it by using right click on the integration service project and then clicking on build. Doing this will create a file named package.dtsx inside the folder named project bin. Just similar to this, one can also create deployment utility. The utility usually helps deploy the package at either an SQL Server or as file on any other location. To create the deployment utility, one need to follow the steps given below. First, navigate to the project and right click on it. Second, double click on the properties option. Third, select to box next to true option under create deployment utility. Here, one can also choose the location of the path for deployment. Another, save the changes and close the window. Next, right click on the project again and click on the build option. Next step, it will create a deployment folder in bin folder of the main project location. And next step, a manif.manifest file will be created in deployment folder. Next, double click on the .manifest file and select the option to deploy the package on the SQL server. Now come to the point 30 and the last point of today's session. It lists different types of supported file formats and connection in SSIS. If you see the supported file formats and connection in SSIS, so XML, if you see file format XML, Excel, ODBC, OLEDB, flat file, .NET SQL client. So these were the 30 questions that we covered today. Please like this channel SkillTech01 if you like the video. For further video with such video, you can log into our channel and enjoy viewing different topics, technical topics, explanation. Thank you. Bye bye.